First time you guys have seen me doing one of these, not shirtless, doing the fasted cardio. It's cold, it's rainy, I got the hoodie on. All right. I haven't done one of these in here for a couple of days because I've had guests come in on them on Facebook. And so the ones of these I've done on Facebook, I've run the whole time because I had people come in both times. Had 3 different guests in 2 days. So people who thought I'd skipped cardio, if you follow me on Facebook, you'll see 40, 50-minute long ones up there from the last couple of days. So today, though, no one really, it wasn't getting views or visitors or guests. So that I would just hop right over to the tubes, see what we get going on here. But yeah, just did an arm workout. You guys probably saw, I just put up a couple pictures. Um, Waistline is not looking good today, but it's the cold absolutely affected me. I noticed that like when I get really cold, the skin gets worse. But everything else looked really good. My upper body's really just thickening up and getting leaner. You can see it today if you look at those pictures I put up already. So arms do seem to be coming up, upper chest coming up. At this point, though, I think just dropping the body fat more and more is going to be the name of the game. I just got to get the waistline tighter. Um, Realizing, looking at those proportions now, I just have to lose body fat and I'll be in a good place. But speaking of losing body fat, I'm standing here in the cold doing fasted cardio. I mean, well, on low carbs, right? I'm eating 50 or less grams of carbs a day, training 2 hours a day, and then doing all this fasted cardio. So, that is how we lose body fat. I mean, fasted other than coffee, I've had a pot and a half of black coffee, right? So I can barely see the thing to see how many people are watching. Looks like, 10 people. So maybe you guys will have some questions or comments, some interesting stuff that we can cover. Um, okay, so still running the special on coaching and on consultation calls, those for those curious. I'll discuss that later more. All right, surprising we're getting this many people watching and nobody commenting at all. That's weird. So no questions, huh? All right. Well, I'll have the our day vlog up later. So yeah, that's what's going on with the training. I have a separate arm day right now in addition to training arms on the other appropriate upper body days. So for those, because I've had people say, what's your split? The current split, Monday's chest and triceps. And of course, we bench heavy on that day. Like I did a top set with 325 and then incline 275 for a couple reps. Tuesday is back in biceps. At the moment for that, it's about 12 sets of back and then 12 sets of biceps after. Next day is glute and hamstring, where we start with a heavy deadlift. Added good mornings in this week. I think I pulled 585 for a single, and then did a good mornings and glute ham raises and reverse hypers. So I'm doing abs all the day. I skipped it today on arm day because I did like 500 crunches last night. And then, so that's in Wednesdays. Thursdays are shoulder days, right? I do about 16 to 18 sets for delts, and I do some traps and neck and everything. Friday is my leg day. I'm doing box squats now. So I did heavy box squats and speed box squats with chains. I think I want to add some split squats in soon. But I did my belt squat machine and then I did leg extensions after. And then today is arm day. which is triceps, biceps, forearms. I only did 3 sets for forearms though. It's like I'm getting so much grip and pulling work. Plus a lot of my curls today, I did dumbbell curls and starting with a supine position like a hammer grip. So I went heavier on all my bicep work today. I added weight. So again, trying to progress on that. Progressive overload's the name of the game. All right. Hey, you guys are quiet today. You guys are quiet today. And the views are going down. Maybe because I'm in a hoodie and we can't see my chesticles. Oh well. I know even my haters enjoy that. So we have for viewers. It's really hard to read it. Oh, I can see my hand now. Yeah, okay. Cool. So there's people watching. There's people clicking the likes. You guys just don't want to comment. Unless I have something hidden with the screen or where I can't see the comments. But it should be. And it's showing that it should be readable. So maybe I just can't see it and people are or they're not. All right. So in any event, then I'll just keep chatting here and see what comes of it. You know, failing that, I can always hop back over to Facebook if need be, right? Because it all feeds the algo. Those get more views than my ones here. Interestingly enough, afterwards they get way more views. So it's kind of a strange thing of how that works. But more people trickling in, so maybe we'll get a few questions or comments whilst we are doing this walking. Right? And I'm staying close to the house because of the weather. I am not going through the muddy area, so I'll be able to swing back to the house really quick at any time. I'm just circling my block with this because of, again, the weather today. Yeah, again, got the hoodie on, right? Which we don't normally do, but again, the weather dictates it. And I've been real cool with doing these in the cold or the colder up until today, but not when it's rainy cold, right? I'm not trying to get sick here. Definitely not trying to get sick. Something we want to absolutely avoid. So, yeah, I think I need to grab some stuff at the grocery store here in a minute too. All right. So, I don't know, I guess this is the longest I've ever done one of these without a single comment. That is really strange. Oh well. Here we go. What? How long are you losing weight at 4,000? First off, I'm not sure quite where you got the 4,000. It's actually about 3,500. Just like anything else, fasted training deficit. I'm not really lost any significant weight at this point for a little while. I'm sitting at 210. What has contributed most to your arm growth and upper chest growth? Training the hell out of them. So notice that I have went from doing like no curls to doing cheat curls and then no curls again to where now I do 20 plus sets for my biceps every week. That will do it. That will do it. Garage, we don't do non-fitness questions really, but keep in mind the size of Texas. That's a really strange question because it could be 50 degrees difference in two different places in Texas. I have no idea what the weather is in Texas. I just know that it's down in the 40s where I'm at and it's raining. So we're back over the other thing. So the arm growth has been lots and lots of curls, pushed lots of volume, lots of sets to failure. And for the upper chest, it's been training incline extremely hard. Which you guys saw, I've hit some PRs on that. Like in the last couple of weeks, I finally got 225 for 10 pause reps on the incline. And then this week I hit 275 for a double with a 1 count on the chest on both reps. Those are on 45 degrees. But I do dumbbells also. So I do barbell and dumbbell incline every single week. It's helped tremendously because I've been working that upper chest from a couple different angles. But I'm also pushing overhead press quite a bit too on top of it. A lot of synergy there. That's helping. But as far as the arms, it's just been, at this point, consistent high volume curling to failure, trying to focus more on full ranges of motion. So even like barbell curls, I'm trying to lock out at the bottom and I'm trying to bring the bar all the way up to my face. Preacher curls, I'm trying to really focus at this point on pausing at the very bottom so that I get a stretch, which is really where you get the most out of the preacher curl. I increased weight on it today though. I went up a little bit. And I could only get sets of 10, but I've been doing sets of like 12 to 15. So I've increased the weight on it today, 10 pounds. And I managed to get 10 for all 3 sets, with the last one, I struggled with it. Like it was a grind trying to get the last rep. But that was my third exercise too, so I've been doing it as a second one. Been rotating in various dumbbell work and stuff. It's been a main focus on the barbell though. I'm finding the straight bar seems to give me the best bicep activation in general. Right, just straight barbell curls. And then preacher curls are getting pushed a lot too. But I am working in various dumbbell work here and there, whether it's incline curls, just supine standing curls, or then pronated to supine grip. What's freaking look like you're hitting 20 sets? Oh, it's over 20 sets. Like, so I'm doing biceps twice a week. Everything else, most muscles are getting once a week. My arms get twice a week because they're a weak point. So today was, I think, 16 sets for biceps, and Tuesday was 12 sets. So after doing back, I did 12 sets, but it was all weights. Today was 9 sets with weights, and then I did 7 sets of bands to failure, around 20 rep bands. But most of it was 10 to 12 reps. So all my barbell curls were 10s, the dumbbells were 12s, and the preachers were 10s. So it was 21 sets of free weights this week and 7 sets of bands for biceps total. But the bands count because they're hard. Like I'm using fairly heavy band tension. And again, they're sets to failure. Like I'm not using tensions. I can't get 50 or 60 reps. They're like 20, 25, and I'm hitting failure on those at that point. And then as far as this week, I've been doing a lot of incline extensions. I'm finding just doing straight up barbell extensions hit my triceps really well. So I've just been hammering those super hard with a little bit of, I did some dumbbells today too, and then some bands. But I'm trying to progressively overload on those barbell extensions. But I do so much pressing too that my pressing contributes probably to the triceps. So I'm trying to stick with extensions that are going to make sure the long head gets hit a little more. But today it was barbell and dumbbell and then bands in between, supersetting it with biceps. So Harris, that's essentially my setup. It's just straight sets across for triceps on my chest day after all my pressing. Then on my back and bicep day, same thing with biceps. But then on the separate arm day today, it's all done as supersets. So again, I mean, treating arms is a priority because they're neglected from all my years of powerlifting, right? But I'm trying to hit a minimum of 3 to 4 angles on biceps every week. Triceps, I'm only worried about hitting maybe 3. Because again, I do a lot of pressing. I'm doing a lot of heavy benching and stuff still. Like I do 4 different types of presses every single week, between flat bench, incline barbell, incline dumbbell, and then overhead pressing. All right, I'm gonna clear my nose real quick. All right, we don't do that on camera. Again, doing this in the cold. But Harris, my arms do need to come up more. I mean, realistically, I could stand to add another inch to my arms over time as I trim down. But mainly from this point forward, I feel like body fat has to be a pretty high priority. I've got to trim down leaner and leaner. That waistline has to get tighter. But what I'm also working on is I'm hammering abs a lot harder now because I feel like even if I lose the fat there, just building my abdominal wall more will help retighten everything up more. And I'm not worried about having a little tiny waist. People can argue about that for aesthetics, but there's no need to try to have as tiny a waist as possible. As long as you don't have a bubble gut, there's nothing wrong with developing your abdominal wall thicker. It still looks good, right? So for me, it's back to hanging leg raises most of the workouts. I'm going to increase volume on those. And then I'm doing crunches at night and stuff off camera. So like I said, I did about 400 to 500 crunches last night. So, which will also help me keep my big lifts up. Because as you lose body fat and you lose some stability in your core, potentially, it's a good idea to build that muscle up more. You want to keep your squat and your deadlift at really high levels. Right? I'm not over here trying to only have a 450 deadlift or some silly nonsense. I want to be up into my 50s coming up here shortly and still be able to pull 600 plus. It'd be, ideal, right? We're not trying to be weak just because we're getting lean and wanting to look good. Yep. But here we are talking about losing body fat, putting in the work, dude. It's cold, it's raining. It's 11:20 in the morning. I'm still fasted after an hour and a half long arm workout. And we're doing cardio in a 50-pound vest. I mean, you have to put the work in, guys. It's just that simple. Jason, can you define to me what an intermediate lifter is? I don't know that we can define that clearly, to be honest, brother. We can argue about it from strength standards. We can argue about it from the perspective of how fast you can progress. So these are things that we discuss, right? But at the end of the day, is there truly a definition of that? It's just a category that we've created and that we've tried to artificially create of at some point between being a novice and an advanced. But honestly, I don't know that we need to train intermediates different than advanced lifters. It's just that the more advanced you get, the slower you progress. And I think if we understand it from that perspective of looking, instead of hard categories, and I know this is a non-answer answer, and I'm sure you're like, oh God, here we go. Blaha's going to waffle on. But it might sound like a non-answer answer, but it's not. What you have to really think of as a continuum or a spectrum, where you have the untrained person on one end and you have an ultra advanced elite lifter on the other extreme. And it's a continuum that shifts there continually. And I don't think there are hard set points of anything in between. Do we really need to go beginner, novice, advanced? Or do we just simply understand that the longer you train, the slower the gains go? And the reason is because various intermediate fibers and slower twitch fibers have a size cap. This is what the science is dug into with that. A complete novice lifter is someone whose slow twitch fibers are capable of growing. How's that? An advanced lifter is someone who only their fast twitch fibers are capable of growing. Everything in between those 2 points is just part of a continuum. So I guess I would say an intermediate would be someone who has some non-fast twitch fibers that are capable of some muscle growth. Morning, Emma. So, how you like that answer? But just remember that's a continuum. Which overhead press would you say is good for someone with a 275 bench? I don't know. Um, well, Emma, should all the raindrops on the screen and the overcast sky should be the obvious reason, is so that I don't freeze to death. All right, because it is winter finally hit. Probably I have no idea. You're asking me to do math and ratios in the middle of my fasted cardio with a weight wearing a 50-pound vest. I have no idea. I don't know, 135. There we go. I just made up a number. Put a big boy plate on each side. You do a couple of reps, or you're probably okay. All right. I don't know what the temperature is, Emma. You'll have to check. Go to Google. I don't have it in front of me. All right. So, everyone knows where I live. It's not like people don't know my exact street. So it's not hard to find out. Everyone knows I live in the city called Spring. All right. Oh, yeah, I mean, I get that, but everyone's climatized to their climate. And so because of where you're from, if you were to come here in the summer, you would literally just die. You would just drop dead. You know. So all right. Hold on. I'll clear my nose out again. All right. Okay, cool, Anthony. I'm glad you appreciated that answer. Because that answer has a lot of nuance. And that's stuff I've been thinking about over time too. We try to define these categories artificially. They're not real categories. It's stuff that we've just made up to try to categorize lifters for the purpose of determining what sort of program they need. Right? But here's the thing. Once you finish the very basic novice phase, what's preventing me from putting you on a program that will work for an advanced lifter? It's just that you may be able to progress a little faster on the weight. I mean, is there any reason I can't put you on a really serious power building split once you've been training 3 months and make phenomenal gains? Of course, we get the same programming I can give advanced people. Coach, any thoughts on HIIT training, high intensity interval training? I'm not a big fan of it because I think it interferes with your lower body training in terms of recovery. You get another leg session in place of that. So I think unless you have sport specific reasons things like this, like GPP or other, either low intensity to moderate intensity cardio are going to give you the most benefits. Now, context. If you compete in a sport where you have to sprint, that's called sport-specific training, and you should probably sprint. Could you time things like interval training around a sport like ring times in boxing? Sure. But that's all sport-specific. Unless you need that, I don't think HIIT is quite frankly that great. And I know guys with PhDs in the fields who said the same thing. Like, um, well, it doesn't hit your legs harder. It can't hit your legs harder in terms of a growth stimulus than the lifting weights will. And if it does, then you're lifting like a pussy. Sorry. That's just facts, right? I mean, and don't get me wrong, I get a leg pump and stuff when I go do sled work, you know, but is it really comparable to doing a 500-pound back squat or doing 10 reps of 405? Come on. You really think that it's even remotely close in terms of the training stimulus? Soreness has nothing to do with your muscles, though, right? So you're talking about soreness and DOMS, right? You do know that has nothing to do with your muscle fibers. So people forget that when they bring that topic up, right? So, yeah, most of the experts don't think DOMS is actually in your muscle fibers. They don't think that's where it's coming from. All right, guys, I've hit my cardio time for the day. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to wind this one down. I got some stuff I got to sort, then I'll get the vlog up. So I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.